It was just outside Fernvale, southwest of Brisbane, and I was zoning. Most motorcyclists know it well, that place where the joy of the machine you are riding has turned to a pure pleasure, and you become like one with the machine. The magnificent Indian Roadmaster I was astride was running as close to autopilot as a modern motorcycle can get. Cruise control engaged, power windscreen tuned to maximum comfort, four-way speaker system pumping a carefully selected playlist Bluetooth from the phone in my jacket pocket, and the rolling open road before me was being devoured by the effortless power of the 1800cc V-twin. I just punted it over the summits of Mount Nebo and Mount Glorious on a typical Brisbane Friday afternoon, and the bike had absolutely nailed it. I mean, nailed it. Small part of my brain that wasn't immersed in the joy of the here, now, and operating the machine was ticking over how I could best describe what I was feeling for the pages of Heavy Duty magazine. It's an inner smile, David, and that idea's light bulb shone momentarily brighter than the Roadmaster's brilliant LED array. An epiphany? Well, maybe not, but I shite you not, the next song that appeared on the playlist immediately after this momentous realisation was, you guessed it, Texas. And the odds of that happening were 478 to 1. And I checked the playlist when I got home. As George Smelovich said in the 1980s, I'm so cool, I dance on the inside. And I was doing my best to contain the idiot grin within. I failed. This is a stunning motorcycle. Just alphabetically listing the Roadmaster's standard inclusions would take up most of the space allocated for this report. But there are some real standouts. The bodywork. The windscreen is amongst the best fitted on a motorcycle, even for a tall rider. It's a little shorter and flatter than that's fitted to our Project Chieftain, the Running Bull, but it's equally effective. The ability to adjust its height via the buttons on the left-hand switch block make it one of the best pieces of bodywork on a motorcycle ever. After you've adjusted and dialed it in for the prevailing conditions and experienced how well it works, you'll probably wonder why a similar setup isn't fitted on every motorcycle with a windscreen. The lower fairings also work well in isolating the rider from the elements. I rode in some pretty heavy rain showers and simply closed the vents between the upper and lower bodywork, hunkered down behind the screen, and stayed quite remarkably dry. Then it's just a matter of opening the vents to get the air flowing around the legs again. I did notice a little heat coming off the engine at lower speeds behind all that bodywork, but it wasn't excessive and it was over 30 degrees C for most of the test rides. I had no call to use the included heated hand grips either, but they do have 10 settings of toastiness available via a rocker switch mounted on the chrome tank cover, adjacent to the luggage's central locking switch. Yep. Central locking. Hit the button and the top box and panniers click to the lock position. Then, with the security fob in your pocket, you can simply walk away and cameras, helmets and kit are secure. The lower fairings are easily removed and refitted, as is the large 64.4 litre top box, essentially turning the bike back into a Chieftain for shorter touring requirements. All the other niceties you would expect in a modern premium luxury motorcycle remain, and in some cases they have been embellished. Notably upgraded from the Chieftain are the saddle and the headlights. The new saddle is desert tan leather, heated, plush and very, very comfortable. The heating dial is located on the lower side of the seat, but we didn't employ it during the Brisbane summer either. Co-pilot rated the overall comfort levels of the rear throne as outstanding, and the passenger footboards have some height adjustability for added comfort. There are even accessory armrests available. The headlight is now a split LED array, as are the accompanying driving lights. All are quite brilliant, figuratively and literally. The main difference I noticed between our long-term Chieftain Running Bull test bike and the Roadmaster was in the engine. 311 cube Thunderstroke remains a real delight. As with most manufacturers, with another model year under its belt, the bike has become a little bit more refined, tighter and in this case smoother. The press bike is fitted with an air intake manifold restrictor that tunes the engine for optimum torque. It's at the expense of some of the high-end revs and the way it breathes when seriously on the gas, but it was only really evident at 8/10 acceleration and above. Otherwise, the motor seemed slightly more tractable, smoother, and a little more comfortable at lower revs than the unrestricted unit. Naturally, the project bike has longer legs, but Indian offer an aftermarket high-flow air filter and Stage 1 pipes for the Roadmaster now too. The dual 300mm floating rotors with 4-pot calipers up front and 2 pots on the rear are fitted with ABS and did a good job of pulling up 600 plus kilograms of bike, rider, passengers and camera equipment. They are genuine 2-finger fronts, and often I didn't need to bring the rear into play at all. Overall, they add to the confidence and enjoyment I got from the bike. We put around 1,000 kilometres on the machine in under a week, through a variety of conditions, town, country and super slab. Around town, it was the second week of re-legalised lane splitting in Queensland, and it really brought home how wide the bike is. The width of the fairings and the engine bars made for a few tight squeezes, but the balance of the bike at low speed is very good, and the general around town cruiser duty is pleasant, head turning and a crowd pleasing affair. Like all Indians, you have to prepare to engage the general public when you ride one. Out in the open and on sports style roads, the 16-inch front, 1668mm wheelbase, 25-degree rake and effortless power make for a very large motorcycle with very tidy manners and handling. Cornering clearance is amongst the best in the full dresser class. Side to sides and tight apexes over Mount Glorious Loop were just that, glorious. The comfort level is also outstanding. For 38,995 Australian dollars right away, you'd expect it all to be top shelf. It is. If you're in the market for an upmarket celebrity motorcycle, ride one. Take one for a test drive. But prepare to grin like an idiot, even if it is only on the inside.